October 4th, 1957. The Soviet Union shocked the world. They launched a satellite into space. America watched in horror. We were losing, badly. The Soviets were ahead in every single way. But what nobody knew was that one man was about to make a promise that seemed absolutely insane. A promise that would change everything. And today, we're telling you the incredible true story of how America went from last place to the moon.
Mr. Stark here, and today we're diving deep into the most intense, high-stakes competition in human history. This isn't just a story about rockets and engineering. It's a story about desperation, ambition, and the unbreakable human spirit. So stick around. Let's rewind to the Cold War. It's 1957. America is the world's greatest superpower. We have the strongest military, the best technology, the most confident people. Then, everything changed. On a single October morning, the Soviet Union successfully launched Sputnik 1. A tiny satellite, no bigger than a beach ball, was circling Earth every 96 minutes. The world heard the radio beeps from space. America heard a death knell. Why? Because if the Soviets could launch a satellite into orbit, they could launch a nuclear weapon anywhere in the world, including over America. The entire country panicked. Suddenly, American children were having duck-and-cover drills in schools. Parents were building bomb shelters in their basements. Congress was furious. The military was embarrassed. And President Eisenhower, he had a problem he couldn't solve with bombs or tanks. But wait, there was someone who believed he could fix this. Someone crazy enough to make an impossible promise. His name was Wernher von Braun. He was a rocket scientist, and he was German. Before the war, von Braun worked for Nazi Germany, building V-2 rockets. But after the war, both America and the Soviet Union raced to capture him and his team. America won. They brought von Braun to America, and by 1957, he was working at the Army Ballistic Missile Agency. When Sputnik launched, von Braun was the only person in America with real expertise in rocketry, and he immediately went to Washington with a radical idea. He told them, "We can beat the Soviets. We can launch an American satellite into space. But more than that, we can do something bigger, something nobody has ever attempted." A congressman asked him, "How much bigger?" Von Braun looked him dead in the eye and said, "We can put a man on the moon." The room went silent. People laughed. Some thought he was insane. But von Braun wasn't joking. He had already drawn the blueprints. He had the engineers. He had the vision. And he had one thing nobody else had: absolute confidence, even when it seemed impossible. But here's the terrifying truth. The Soviets weren't just ahead by a little. They were dominating. In 1957, they launched Sputnik 1. Then, just 1 month later, they launched Sputnik 2. This one was huge, and it carried a living creature, a dog named Laika. They had proven that living beings could survive in space. America? We had nothing. Our first satellite attempt, Vanguard 1, was supposed to launch in December 1957. It exploded on the launch pad, on live television. The entire world watched America fail. Then the Soviets went further. They sent a spacecraft that crashed intentionally into the moon, becoming the first human-made object to reach another celestial body. In the first year of the space race, the Soviets accomplished 4 major firsts. America had 0. Back in Moscow, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev was bragging to the world. He said the Soviet system was superior, that communist engineering was better than American engineering, that the future belonged to them. People in America were genuinely terrified. Teachers were asking students, will we even exist in 10 years? Some Americans thought we had already lost the race. But there was one man who refused to accept that, and his name was John F. Kennedy.
It's May 1961. JFK has been president for just 4 months, and he's facing the worst possible situation. The Soviets have just successfully launched Yuri Gagarin into space. He became the first human in space. He orbited Earth 108 minutes. He landed safely. The Soviets had beaten America again. Kennedy was devastated. The country was humiliated, and his approval ratings were plummeting. But Kennedy was a strategist. He understood Cold War psychology. He knew that to regain American confidence and global leadership, he needed something absolutely epic, something nobody had ever done before. So on May 25, 1961, Kennedy addressed Congress. He sat there in front of the entire world and made a promise that shocked everyone. He said, "I believe this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." He said it with absolute conviction, no hesitation. The room gasped. People in Congress were stunned. Some thought it was a bluff. Others thought it was suicidal. But Kennedy wasn't asking for permission. He was declaring war. The goal was insane. The timeline was impossible. They had less than 9 years, and America had never even sent a human into space yet. But that's when something extraordinary happened.
Kennedy's promise was bold, but promises without execution are just words. So he created NASA, and he brought together the greatest engineering minds in human history. There was Wernher von Braun, the rocket genius. There was George Mueller, who revolutionized project management. There was Gene Kranz, the legendary flight director with steely determination in his eyes. And there were thousands of other engineers, scientists, and workers who believed in the impossible. These weren't just smart people. They were obsessed. They worked 16-hour days. They slept at their desks. They forgot their families' birthdays. Some of them aged visibly during the program. The stress literally etched into their faces. But they had something powerful motivating them. It wasn't just about beating the Soviets. It was about proving that America's vision of freedom, innovation, and determination could achieve what others said was impossible. There were setbacks, terrible setbacks. In 1967, 3 astronauts, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, were conducting a routine test of the Apollo 1 spacecraft. Then a fire broke out, an electrical spark. In seconds, the cabin was engulfed in flames. All 3 men died. The entire nation grieved. Many people asked, "Is this worth it? Should we keep going?" But the team didn't give up. In fact, they learned from the tragedy. They made the spacecraft safer, stronger, better. This is what separates true visionaries from everyone else. When faced with failure, they don't quit. They innovate.
By 1969, America had completed the Gemini program. American astronauts had proven they could do spacewalks. They could dock spacecraft together. They could navigate in space. But they had never been to the moon. Now, the moment was approaching. The Saturn V rocket stood on the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was the most powerful rocket ever built. 363 feet tall, more than 7.5 million pounds. It would take 400,000 people to build it. And standing on top of that rocket were 3 American astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. On July 16, 1969, at 9:32 a.m., Mission Control gave the final countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The ground shook. Flames erupted from the rocket's engines. The entire spacecraft vibrated with a power that was almost beyond comprehension. And slowly, it rose into the sky. For the first time in human history, people were being launched toward the moon, and America was doing it. The Soviet Union was no longer in the race. Their massive rocket, the N-1, had exploded multiple times. Their moon program had collapsed. They couldn't compete anymore. America had caught up, and now America was going to win. But the most intense moments were still ahead, moments that would determine if all this sacrifice was worth it. 3 days later, Apollo 11 arrived at the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin climbed into the lunar module. Michael Collins stayed in orbit above them, piloting the command module. Then Armstrong and Aldrin began their descent, slowly, carefully, through the moon's thin atmosphere. The lunar module had never been tested in actual conditions. Everything was a calculated risk. As they descended, Armstrong noticed something terrifying. The computer was guiding them toward a boulder field, a landing zone filled with massive rocks. If they landed there, the lunar module could tip over. They could die. Armstrong had seconds to make a decision. He took manual control of the spacecraft. His hands were steady. His heart was pounding.
He was flying by instinct now. Below him, the moon's surface approached. 500 feet, 400 feet, 300 feet, 200 feet. Then, in mission control, they got a warning. Low fuel. Armstrong had maybe 25 seconds of fuel left, maybe less. 25 seconds to find a safe landing spot on the moon. 25 seconds before they would crash. Mission control was silent. Everyone was holding their breath. Gene Kranz, the flight director, was stone-faced. He knew if Armstrong didn't find a spot in the next few seconds, 2 of America's greatest astronauts were going to die, and the entire lunar program would fail. Then, Armstrong saw it. A flat area. Clear. Safe. He descended. Slower. Slower. Dust kicked up from the engines, swallowing the landscape. And then,
The lunar module's legs touched the moon's surface. The dust settled, and for the first time in the entire human history of Earth, 2 human beings had landed on another world. Armstrong radioed back to mission control. The Eagle has wings. The entire mission control room erupted. People were jumping, crying, hugging each other. Gene Kranz sat there, tears streaming down his face. He understood what had just happened. America had done the impossible, but Armstrong wasn't done. He opened the hatch, he climbed down the ladder. Each rung took him further from Earth, further into the unknown. And then his boot touched the moon's surface. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, Armstrong said. The entire world heard those words. People in America were weeping. Families were gathering around television sets. In Times Square, a crowd of over 1 million people watched the broadcast on big screens. They were cheering, crying, celebrating. Even in the Soviet Union, people were watching, quietly, knowing that their country had lost the race, that America had won, that the impossible had become real. Buzz Aldrin joined Armstrong. They collected moon rocks, they planted an American flag. They spent 21 hours on the lunar surface. Then they blasted off, returned to orbit, and headed home. When they splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, America had not just won the space race. We had proven something fundamental about human nature, that with vision, determination, and sacrifice, absolutely nothing is impossible.
But here's what most people don't talk about. This victory came at a massive cost. Over $280 billion was spent on the Apollo program. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $700 billion in today's money. Some people criticized that spending. They said the money should have gone to schools, hospitals, or fighting poverty. And they had a point. But here's the other truth. The Apollo program created 400,000 jobs. It revolutionized technology. Every computer chip, every advancement in material science, every innovation in robotics, they all came from the space program. And more importantly, it gave America something it desperately needed: hope, confidence, a sense that we could achieve greatness. For one moment in human history, the entire world united by a single human achievement. Not war, not conflict, but exploration, discovery, the expansion of human knowledge. The Soviet Union watched. They knew they had lost, but they also knew that America had won something bigger than the space race. We had won the hearts and minds of people around the world, and for a brief moment, the future looked bright.
Mr. Stark here, and honestly, after researching this story, I'm moved by something fundamental. The Apollo 11 moon landing wasn't just about rockets and engineering. It was about human beings refusing to accept the word impossible. It was about a nation united behind a dream. It was about individuals, von Braun, Kennedy, Armstrong, Aldrin, and thousands of nameless engineers who believed that greatness was possible. Today, we face different challenges: climate change, inequality, polarization, and sometimes it feels like we've lost that sense of collective purpose, that belief that we can achieve great things together. But the moon landing proves something eternal, that when we decide something matters enough, when we commit our resources and our passion and our vision to it, we can achieve what seems absolutely impossible. The question isn't whether we can change the world. We already proved we can walk on the moon. The real question is,
What are we willing to commit to next? What's the next great challenge we're willing to face together? If you loved this story about human achievement and the power of vision, hit that subscribe button, because every week we're bringing you incredible true stories that will inspire you to believe in the impossible. Thanks for watching, and remember, the future belongs to those bold enough to chase it.